What's going on, everybody? This is Indie Night Film Festival, Indie Night On Demand. I am your host, Q Night, and we are back once again, live and direct. Got a wonderful guy who I am familiar with us right now. My man Jonathan is in the building, and we are talking about his film, Chocolate Milk. Jay is in the building.
What's up?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Q. How you doing?
Doing quite well. Thanks so much for being here and doing this interview with us, man.
Always. I'm glad to be back. I'm always happy to be, interviewed and talked to, especially by you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Happy New Year. Start there first.
Happy New Year.
Yes, yes.
2021.
So we're here to talk about your film, Chocolate Milk.
Yes.
And without giving too much of it away for those who haven't seen it, matter of fact, those who have not seen it, you need to go and see it, and you can watch it, of course, right here. But I just want to talk a little bit about it, and just tell us a little bit about the story of Chocolate Milk.
Well, Chocolate Milk is the story of a young college student of color who struggles to find racial identity and acceptance among his peers while trying to exist in a world perceived to be only black or white. And with that story, it's very interesting in that during my academic career and just in life in general, I've always saw what is considered the other black boy. And it's the black boy or a person, if it's a female, that hangs with, the white crowd or just doesn't have cultural association with us, socially in a school atmosphere or in a social atmosphere. And I always wanted to know what that was like, and just being around people and having to talk to them. And in high school and in school in general, I've always been a person that had a lot of friends in different areas. I just didn't stick to one crowd. So I got to have a lot of one-on-one time with those, type of people that had those experiences. And so I wanted to tell, a distinctive narrative about that person and what their internal struggle is like, battling those two so-called worlds, and how can one possibly overcome that struggle.
Right, indeed. So the interesting thing that I liked about this film that I wanted to ask you about is that the name is Chocolate Milk, okay? And in those situations, the situation that comes up for me is, I want to say it's kind of like in the lunchroom kind of like area or the dining area. Black or brown folks over here, white folks over here. Now I'm getting the chocolate milk. But also the other thing that I noticed is that, the colors that are being used in this particular film. One group of folks, they have on white shirts. Another group of folks have on black shirts. Individuals who you might look at who are doing some harassment, they're in blue. Some would relate that to say, okay, that feels like the police because of what was going on. Using these colors like this, was that something that you did intentional, or it just worked out that way?
It was intentional. I'm glad you pointed that out, because a lot of people don't pay attention in that detail to that. But yeah, so it's just like, the darker crew, what they were deemed to be, dark. And then you have the people who wore the white, they were deemed to be pure, and all that. And then when I had that bullying scene you're talking about, that was reminiscent of like a Trayvon Martin-esque situation where we had like the police bullying, this defenseless black boy who's caught off guard once his friends, leave him. And, there's an opportunity to kind of take advantage of that situation. So, yeah, so I definitely want to use colors as a symbolism of representation of the different groups and the social issues that we have as a society here in the United States, and even in, 2021.
You did a wonderful job with that, because I noticed that with gentleman I would consider to be the main character, who had the Post-it notes on his mirror. At one point in time, he was in a shirt that was gray, which was very interesting because, because he is brown or he's African American, because you hang sometimes with a certain group and sometimes you don't hang with your friends or your peers, and you go over to hang with some other people, individuals will label you and say, he's an Oreo, or he's this or that or that. So the use of color on his shirt, with just having a gray shirt, I was like, yeah, okay, I see what you're doing here, because that was very unique, and I really never seen that being done before like that. So again, intentional, I'm going to believe, yes?
Yes. Yeah, the gray area is very important, because that's how he felt internally. He didn't know where he fit in. And so he was just kind of like trying to figure that out. And even there's a point where he came to, you know, his social group that he really wanted to be a part of that community. And then I had even tribal drums as music, as he was rejected from that group. You know, when they threw Oreos at him, that was all kind of symbolism that I was using.
Cast out of the village. He's being cast out of the village.
Yeah.
So to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was very, very intense culturally is what I wanted to get across so people could understand, you know, the beats that I was hitting with that.
Now, with this particular character, for me, what I did notice is that, you know, even though he's going through these trials and tribulations, this also touches on suicide between teens and especially with young people. Was that also, it seems like you were kind of diving into that a little bit as well, because, you know, being rejected by your peers, sometimes, you know, it can hurt, you know, especially when you're young and you have all of these questions. You're not accepted over here. You're not accepted over there. You know, am I worthy? Do I mean anything? Does anybody love me? Is that your thought?
Yes, exactly. And, you know, this period of time in your life, I feel like when you're, you know, coming of age, so to speak, and those early on experiences develop you and who you end up becoming as an adult. And it's very crucial in your development. So to be shunned at such, you know, an early point in your life, especially socially, and not know who you are, because identity is a very big part of this film. It's all about identity and where you fit in and acceptance, you know? So those are all integral parts of this narrative, and just finding what is acceptable to you to be accepted. Should you care? Should you not care? You know, and all of that is important. And in the end, you know, you have to find out what happens.
Indeed. When it comes to filmmaking, you know, sometimes we hear that films can take, you know, 2 months, 6 months, 2 years. You know, as of recently, we just found out, especially with Avatar, 5 years or even longer. With this particular film for you, how long did it take to shoot this film?
I think we split this up either between 2 or 3 weekends. I know we definitely shot during 2 weekends, and maybe we did some pickups during the weekday or something like that between that time. But so probably like 3 weeks total. I think this what this took to shoot, just to figure out everybody's schedules and what we were doing. And when I shot this film originally, it was the election of Donald Trump in office, and it was very interesting because one night on the shoot, when he got actually elected in office, there was like protests on campus. And it was just crazy. And I had to really keep my cast focused, because some people want to just go out and just protest. And I'm like, you can't do that,
right. Especially,
you know, being us. You can't. You're going to be a target. Let other people do that and get that attention, you know. So it was a very interesting experience. Very, very timely, of course. You know, this film is very timely today. What's still going on, what just happened a couple of days ago, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to a film like this, when individuals get a chance, when an audience get a chance to see this film, what do you want them to come away with?
Empathy, understanding, and also acceptance of what you may not understand. You know, everybody has their own paths in life. Everybody has their own experiences, and we may not understand everyone's experience, but we can still support that, and we can still embrace them with love, you know, and acceptance. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from this film, is to just embrace each other among our differences and find out, you know, how we can come together. And I feel like it's definitely what we as a, you know, country need right now, and for a long period of time, especially of these last 4 years. So.
Yeah. When it comes to the pandemic, and all of the things that have been going on with that, you know, we've been isolated, you know, a whole lot, staying at home. There's been a curfew. You know, we have a wonderful big studio here, but our staff is very, very small. Everybody has on masks. We have, you know, hand sanitizer all over the place and all those different things. As a creative and as an artist for you, has this affected you? Has it made you better? Has it made you look at a different side of things, a different perspective of this whole pandemic?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's been all of those things for me. I think in the beginning it was very stressful. I was a part of maybe like 3 or 4 different projects during last year that this affected, but it was 2 that I just happened to complete right before we went into lockdown in LA. And then another project that I was happened to get through during the summer. And then also it's kind of stopped another project, which was a horror film that I was going to do at the top of December. And, you know, LA got re-shut down after the holidays. So it was very, you know, confusing to get through it. But I will say as an artist, you see who can thrive and who can't thrive during this, because there's a lot of inspiration. There's a lot of ways you can still do projects. Like I said, I was still pushing through, and I was still, you know, accomplished one project during quarantine, and I was on par to do another one. But you just have to learn how to downsize your productions and just try to follow protocol as best as you can to get through things without, you know, risking people's lives, so to speak. So just find other ways to be creative. And if you can't, you know, physically do a production, you can always do, you know, write something, you know, have it in pre-production, plan it. And then you can also, if you have anything that you already finished, you know, you can go into post-production and edit and get that together and, you know, get in these festivals and be on indie night like we are today, you know?
Boom, right, exactly. Now you did that so perfectly, because you answered like that question, and then which was going to be my last question as far as like, you know, what advice do you have for other filmmakers? But you already answered that. You did a wonderful job with that, and I appreciate that so much. When it comes to social media, do you have social media, website, or anything like that that people can keep up with your movements?
Yes. If you're on Facebook, like we are on today, guys, you can follow me at Superstar Production. That's SUPASTAR Productions with a Z instead of an S. You can also follow me on YouTube as well. Same thing, Superstar Productions on YouTube. And then also you can follow me on Instagram. I have two handles. I have a personal handle, which is Long Live the Noir King. That's my personal account. And then also you can follow my movie page for my feature, which is Slasher the Movie, which I'm hoping to get on here one day too. We'll see. So.
Let's make it happen then. Let's make it happen, you know. We'll do what we do.
I got one more thing to add.
Sure, man. Go ahead.
To piggyback off your last question, I will say also networking is very important during this time. Even this last project that I was going to do, I got on Facebook actually, and I used it to my advantage. I jumped in film groups. I was looking for crew, told them, you know, we had little to no budget and just they can help with us, you know, just some creatives getting together. And I actually was able to find I staffed a whole group of people within a week. So, you know, we were all ready to go. They were looking forward to it. And then, you know, the second wave hit and we got shut down again. So it is possible to still thrive in this pandemic and still keep your artwork going. The money's not necessarily always a factor. Yes, people do need to be paid, and you know people won't want money, but there's a lot of people that are understanding. And during these times, a lot of people that just want to be involved with art. So don't be discouraged. Anybody out there watching this, don't be discouraged. Keep pushing, keep thriving, and keep pursuing your dreams.
And that's perfect. Thank you, Jonathan. I really appreciate that, man. Definitely.
Thank you.
My man Jonathan is in the building right now. And of course, the name of the film is called Chocolate Milk. Make sure you check it out right here on Indie Night Film Festival, Indie Night on Demand. And we thank each and every one of you guys for being here. And as we always say, why wait once a year to be seen and miss all of this wonderful work in between? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Indie Night. I am your host, Q Nice. And as always, I'll see you around the world.
All right.